It's early, but I'm here. I'm ready to finish this drawing and talk about Love is Blind UK because I can't stop thinking about it. And nobody that I know is watching it right now. So we're going to be finishing up this drawing. I think this is my 4th video of her, and I'm so bored. And I'm so ready to be done with her. She's almost done. The background is bothering me, but I also kind of want to keep it simple. I don't really want to give it a lot of texture, but yeah, she's pretty much done, and I'm ready to be done with her. But we're going to talk about Love is Blind UK. I am such a reality TV junkie. I think I realized how much I loved reality TV when I was really into 90 Day Fiancé. And I was like, wow, I'm really into this. And I've always known I liked reality TV, but at that point I kind of I think it was 2016 or 2017, I kind of reflected and I was like, I have always watched reality TV, since I was a kid. All the TLC shows. I actually didn't watch Dance Moms. That's a Lifetime show. I didn't really watch Lifetime. My mom wasn't a Lifetime girly. And I actually recently started watching Dance Moms when JoJo Siwa kind of blew up with her controversial whatever. I was like, because I'd watched a little bit of Dance Moms, and I know who Maddie Ziegler is and all that, so I was like, let's watch some Dance Moms. So I watch Dance Moms when I fold laundry and stuff recently. I love it. And I know reality TV's half of it's fake, and it's it's ridiculous, but I've always watched reality TV. My mom let me and my sister watch the Kardashians when we were little, and we watched Girls Next Door when we were little. So I don't know what that did to my brain, but I love reality TV. So when Love is Blind came out, I was like, oh, that's for me. They made this show just for me and nobody else. And I love it. It's probably probably my favorite reality TV dating show. And the reason why it's my favorite is because they take it so seriously. They're this is a social experiment, and this is really serious, and people are here to find love. And I think Married at First Sight kind of does a similar thing, but they don't execute it in the same way. And I like the concept of Love is Blind, where they talk to each other behind a wall and get to know each other, so you see their relationship blossoming. It's not like they just get married on the spot. There's some development there. I like that a lot more. I know you want to go outside, baby girl, but it's not time to go outside. I know, I love you. You're okay. Everything's okay. So I've watched all the American Love is Blind. I've watched the Japanese Love is Blind, which I really liked. I hope they make more of it. I think I started watching the Brazilian one, and I didn't feel like dealing with subtitles, so I stopped. And it wasn't interesting enough for me. It was kind of okay. For some reason, the Japanese one was more interesting to me. I don't know why. And I started watching it was some European country. I started watching that one, and then I stopped. Something I think because reality TV is very much wow, I made that really dark. Wow, okay. It's okay. It's good. It needs to be done. So reality TV is kind of brain off activity for me. And so when there's subtitles, I don't always feel like it. But I feel like I did finish a season of something and it wasn't in English and it wasn't the Japanese one. But I can't remember which one. But anyway, Love is Blind is great. Really love it. Vanessa Lachey is annoying. And Nick Lachey is boring. But anyway. Wow, I made that really dark. I'm scared. It's gonna be okay. But anyway, Love is Blind UK. I didn't even know it was coming out. I didn't even know it was happening. And then suddenly I see it and I'm like, oh my God, yes. Because I don't have to, I can enjoy Love is Blind and it's in another country and I don't have to use subtitles. This is awesome. I really hope they do a Love is Blind Australia because that will be really cool. But yeah, so I wrote down the couple's names so I don't forget. And I remembered them off the top of my head, but we're just going to go in the order that I wrote them down. So we're going to talk about Sabrina and Steven first. And, oh, also I'm going to tell you at which point I've stopped watching because I don't know if Kat and Freddie got married, but I am going to be giving major spoilers for the whole show, except for Kat and Freddie's marriage. I think I watched everybody else's wedding, yeah, except Kat and Freddie, so I don't really know what happens with them, and I'm going to watch it today when I'm done doing this probably, or when I have lunch, so I'm scared. Anyway, keep going. Sabrina and Steven are probably on Love is Blind. If the couple gets a low amount of screen time, it's because they are unproblematic. And I think we've seen Sabrina and Steven the least. We haven't really had any major issues. And of course they got married, of course. I definitely saw them getting married. I was like, if they don't get married, then I'm not a real fan of this show, because usually I can tell if they're going to get married or not. Usually. And at this point, because I've watched this show so much, there have been some surprises, and I was surprised by one of the couples in this cast yesterday. But yeah, so Sabrina and Steven, very lovely. Sabrina is adorable. Steven is so goofy, and like you could just like sometimes, most of the time for me, if I see them together, or I can like see how they connect through the wall, I can usually tell like, okay, they're gonna work out, or they're gonna end up together at least, and then we'll see how that goes from there. And then once they were out of the pods, I was like, okay, they're good to go. They're gonna be great. Like, and it just like their chemistry is so nice and sweet, and there's not really much to say about them because they're just a really good couple. They did end up getting married, and I wouldn't. They're my second favorite. My first favorite is Jasmine and Bobby, and then I really liked Demi and Ollie, and Sabrina and Steven are third. Not for any particular reason. They're just a little bit boring, but they also don't show them very much because they're so unproblematic. Only the troubled couples get more screen time, you know, because we have to stir up the drama. I did think Demi and Ollie were going to be more dramatic, and then they really calmed down. Honestly, the UK couples are very unproblematic compared to Americans. Like, not all the Americans. I think Americans on season 1 were very, very tame. But like after season 1, there's just been some crazy weirdos on the American Love is Blind, and I think they do it on purpose. I think they throw a couple of wild cards in there when they do their casting, and they're like, let's see what happens here. Like, you know, I think I don't know, there's a lot of like manipulation and weird stuff going on behind the scenes of this show, and it's very interesting. It's like, I think they know who would be a good match. Like they choose people who will be compatible, and then they put them, in the same season or whatever, right? Like the casting process, I think, is very interesting, and I would love to know how they do it. But I think in the American version especially, they throw a lot of wild cards. And the reason I think that didn't happen with the UK version is that it's the first UK season. I think they wanted to have like a successful season where they have a lot of couples, because it's the first UK season, so they want it to be successful. So for season 2, more people will audition for the show, and then things will get a little messy. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Because I do think they want people who honestly want to get married. I do think, for the sake of the show, they do want to have some success stories, and then they also want to have some massive crazy failures, because that makes for better television. So honestly, this show's kind of messed up, because people get really seriously hurt by doing this show, like emotionally damaged, because they go into it, they get engaged, they almost get married, and then the person leaves them at the altar, and then they're all messed up. It's not lighthearted stuff. If they're really into it, if they're just there for the fame. But I think they're pretty good at sussing people out, like, most of the time. I don't know. Or at least the cast itself will suss people out. The producers don't really care, I don't think. They just want drama. But I think the cast will usually be like, they're not here for the right reason, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, Sabrina and Steven are great. And they're very cute. I wish them all the best. Also, I might be talking a little bit, I don't know. Reality TV is hard, because it's like, they feel like characters in a show, but they're actually real people. So I want to be honest, but I also don't want to be mean, because in my head they're just characters on a show, but then I'm like, oh wait, they're real people, so I need to be nice. But the next couple on the list I wrote is Nicole and Benaya, and Benaya's so cute. He's adorable. He's lovely. I really like him. Nicole, I'm fine with Nicole, except the whole Sam thing. When she chose Sam, I was like, girl, you picked the wrong guy. Are you stupid? And then I was like, did they tell her to do this? It felt kind of fake. And then Sam kept saying, I'm like, okay, if this isn't fake, if this is real, she actually chose Sam, on her own, I just couldn't believe it, because they just seem so incompatible, and Sam seems like a rat, he just wanted to be there to be on TV. Because, if he had to keep saying, I'm here for the right reasons, I'm here for the right reasons, it's like, okay, somebody heard you saying something that made it sound like you're here for the wrong reasons. And he's not trustworthy. Don't like him. I got the ick immediately. Big red flag. And you could, even what Sam was telling Nicole, he just sounded like a red flag to me, anyway. Of course, we don't hear everything that they say to each other. So maybe he was saying some nice things too. I just couldn't see it at all. And so I was like, when Nicole picked Sam, the only reason I thought it was real is because Benaya seemed really upset. Unless I just, like, didn't let him in on it. But then that's, like, messed up. I don't know. But I was like, girl, if this is real, you got some problems, because he's crazy. He's not, you know, that dude is just... Sam? No. Nope. Sam is not happening. And you know, I wish I could make the boobs a little bigger, and I don't really like. This needs to be darker, I think. Anyway, how much time do we have? Okay, I just don't want to, like, be talking and get cut off by my camera. Nicole and Benaya. As a couple, I think they're great. And I think they're very compatible. And Benaya seems really into her. And I don't know, Nicole, she seems like a nice person, but maybe a little delusional or something. I don't know, just the whole Sam thing threw me off with her. I just can't. The vibe is off, you know, after that Sam thing. But in general, I like them. They're good. So, yeah. And they did get married. I knew they would get married. They're too into each other not to get married. But yeah, love Benaya. Benaya's really cute and really nice and blah, blah, blah. And then I just don't trust Nicole. Because, like, falling for someone like Sam is just so icky. But then I just don't believe it. I feel like they set it up. I really feel like they might have set it up. I don't know. Like, the way they edit the show is so messy. Like, this season especially, I think the cast was so unproblematic that they really had to put some crazy edits in there, because they made it seem like stuff was happening and it was not happening at all. I don't have specifics, but, like, whenever the cast was together, like when they met all of the pod squad, the editing was so choppy, and then they would, like, cut to, like, somebody making a weird face, and it just felt so unnatural. And I'm like, y'all need to stop, because, like, to me I would love to see what it's like without, like, the added layers of editing drama, because I don't really care. I can always, like, suss that out. And why am I doing this? And I would love to just see it uncut, raw footage, and see what they're saying. That's more interesting to me. And but of course they would never, ever do that. But I feel like this cast was so unproblematic that they really had to dig deep with the edits to make it seem like something was happening. Like with Kat and Ollie. I mean, Kat was a little bit flirty with Ollie, but I think she just naturally is kind of like that. But they really cut the edit so that it looked like Demi was upset and, like, all this stuff, right? And it's like, that's not, it's not happening. And, yeah, so Nicole and Benaya, not my favorite couple, but they're cute, they're good. I think they're really into each other. I think they will make it work. This face, I'm a little hesitant to shade too much, but I need to get in that nose, don't I? I'm starting to not care. And I'm just like, what should I do? I should just have fun, right? I'm getting bored. I'm so bored. I really like her. I think she turned out really nicely, but I'm just bored. Okay. Next, we have Kat and Freddie. Kat and Freddie are probably the most problematic couple, I think. Yeah. They just... And they didn't even really do anything. That's the thing. Like, this cast is so unproblematic that the most problematic couple has nothing going on. Which is just so interesting because, like, the later seasons of the US version are just out of control, if I'm remembering correctly. It's funny, like, I know all their names right now, I know what's going on, and then in 2 months it's going to be, like, gone. Unless somebody's, like, talking about it and reminds me of details, yeah. But anyway, Kat and Freddie. I really liked Kat when they were in the pods at first. I was like, oh, she's so cute. And then she was like, she seemed really sweet and genuine, and I just liked her. And I really liked Freddie. He seems like a really sweet guy. And, you know, he seems very, like, super unproblematic and very chill and stuff like that. And then a little bit of pressure hit Kat, and then her true colors kind of come out. She seems kind of like one of those people where if everything's good, she's great, but as soon as one little thing goes wrong, it, like, ruins her perception, and then she kind of, like, she doesn't throw a fit, but, like, just kind of, like, melts down a little bit. And it's like, oh, you can't handle real life. Sorry, is that mean? I don't know. This is just my perception of her based on this show, which is not, you know, it doesn't show her entirely as a person, but this is just my perception, okay? And, like, when they came back to real life, I think that was when I was kind of like, I don't really like Kat anymore, because I don't know, she just seems kind of like a brat a little bit. I like her parents a lot, and, like, the dynamic between her and Freddie and her parents seemed good, and I don't know, she's just, I wouldn't be friends with her in real life, you know what I mean? And but Freddie seems really, really nice. He seems really into her, and then when he told her about the cheating thing, that really messed her up. And I don't know if they got married or not. I'm guessing no. My best guess is no. They're not getting married. Especially, like, if we look at the numbers, because it seems like everybody else has gotten married so far except Maria and Tom. And for 5 out of 6 couples to get married, that's crazy. So I feel like statistically it's not gonna happen. Oh wait, Demi and Ollie didn't get married either. Never mind. So maybe they will. I don't know. But yeah, Kat and Freddie, they're okay. If Kat was just a little bit more chill, I think they'd be really compatible, and I think they'd work out. But I think because Kat is just a little bit edgy, you know, I just don't see it happening. Or not edgy, she's a little bit too particular. Like, her expectations about people and life are a little bit too high. You know, some people just live in La La Land. I need to fix the nose. Oh no. Oh my god, like what's that called? The molding or whatever? Where the wall meets the floor, there's, like, that molding thing, whatever that's called. It's, like, covered in charcoal and pencil shavings and eraser bits. Okay. Alright, who's next? Demi and Ollie. Demi and Ollie are the biggest disappointment for me this season, because I really liked them. I really liked Demi. Demi was very relatable. And, like, I just was like, okay, she gets sensitive and like shuts down. I totally relate. I do that all the time. But then she's actually really cool and like has a good head on her shoulders, or so it seems. And like she and Ollie just had so much fun together, and they were so cute, and they looked so good together. And Ollie, you know, he took a while to kind of come out of his shell too a little bit, I think, or like become comfortable. And I think they got to a place where they were more vulnerable with each other. And of course, like, this all happens so quickly, it's like we don't really know how deep they're going. But when Demi said no, I was like, girl, because she was like, my head's saying no, blah, 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 my heart is saying yes. And I'm like, just do it, because I think you guys are great together. And if they say no, it just kind of like, I don't know if I've seen a couple say no at the altar and then they get back together. My memory is very bad, but I'm sure they have, but it's just less likely for them to get back together, I think, if they say no at the altar, because it's like the whole family's there, and like you get your emotions all high, and it's just very traumatic to be told no at the altar when you're not expecting it. So yeah, I just don't say no if you want to be with them, you know, because like they're like, oh, we're not ready, blah blah blah, and it's like, if you're gonna get married anyway, does it really matter? Like, can you see yourself marrying this person? I don't know. Because it's like, if you don't think this time is enough, then why do you come on this show? If you really want to get married, I don't know. People don't really know how the reality is going to feel until they get there, you know, but I want her to have a little shadow under her eye, but not a lot. Okay. My favorite part of drawings are always like the little details like this at the end. Because then it kind of just like pulls everything together and you're like, wow. Okay, let's do a little shadow on the chin. Give me 1 second and I'll get back into yapping. Yap, 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 yap. I can't tell if that's too little, too much, or just right. I think we need a little more right here. And a little build up right here. And a little build up right here. I don't want to put too many harsh shadows, because then she'll start looking a little angular, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Demi and Ollie, I loved them. I was really rooting for them, and they looked so good together. And it seemed like Ollie was like in good spirits about it. So maybe they talked about it before, like, oh, Demi's gonna say no, she's not ready. Maybe he knew, but he seemed kind of shocked. So I don't know. I never knew if the couples like tell each other, because like I could not, if I was gonna say no, there's no way I could do that to the person. And like maybe contractually they're not supposed to, but I wouldn't give a shit. I'd be like, I gotta tell you, if, you know, because if I really care about you and I want to be with you later, you gotta know what I'm thinking. And we're gonna put on this whole charade and our families are gonna come. Like, that's crazy, dude. I could not surprise somebody. Mm-mm. No way. No way. But yeah, I was taken aback. Like, I kind of had a feeling. I was like, Demi, is that her name? That's her name, right? Demi? I don't know. Her footage, you know, behind the scenes or whatever. Or what is it called? I don't know what it's called. Her interviews before the wedding didn't inspire confidence in me, but I was like, it's going to be fine. They're going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And then, Yeah, I was shook. I was not happy. But, you know, hopefully at the reunion we'll see them together and everything will be okay, right? I don't know. Okay. Oh, she's looking good. She's looking real good. So, Jasmine and Bobby, my absolute favorites. I love them. I think they are a match made in heaven. And the reason I think that is because Jasmine seems like a very emotionally driven person with very strong opinions, which is fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but she seems like if you say the wrong thing to her, she's gonna get upset. And there were multiple times, I don't know the specifics, but I just noticed it multiple times where she would bring something up as an issue to Bobby, and she was kind of like combative in her presentation. Like she's like ready to be like, oh, if you don't like that, then we're done, kind of a vibe. And he just like, I think he could just like listen to her, to what she was saying really well, and then he would just be like, oh, well, that's not an issue because blah, blah, blah. Like, he just completely diffused everything. And I'm not saying that he's being manipulative. I'm just saying that, like, he can hear her out and not get offended by what she's saying, and then just, like, everything's fine. So I'm like, oh my God, they're going to be married forever. They're going to die together when they're 80, holding hands on the bed, like that Notebook movie. And isn't that how the Notebook ends? I don't remember. But yeah, they got it. They win this season. In my head, if there's one winning couple, it's them. And yeah, they did it. And they had like 0 screen time. The most screen time they had was when Jasmine's mom came. And Jasmine's mom seems, oh God, what am I doing? Ooh, I'm scared. I need to think about what I'm doing for the background. Ooh, I don't know yet. I wanted this to be water, but that's too much work. Or maybe I can try. I'll go in with this first. But yeah, Jasmine's mom. Seems like she would be a problem if Jasmine allowed her to be a problem, you know? Like, oh, you need to tell me what's going on in your life and tell me about your relationship. I'm your best friend. You don't need any friends. Stuff like that, which is just like, it's cute when you hear it, but then when you see people going through, moms who just can't let go, like, oh, tell your mom everything and we're so close and blah blah blah, and it's like, you can't tell someone everything. I'm sorry. Like, if they have a pull in your life the way your mother has pull, because like, if your mom says something and you listen forever, your whole life, unless like you don't know your mom, then that's like different. But like, parents just have this horrible power. I'm being real. Like, you just always, your parents say something and there's just something in your mind that you have to fight because you just like take their words at face value. And you it feels legit, right? And then you have to remind yourself, oh, they're just a person. They don't know what's going on, blah, 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 right? So, but yeah, having your mom be too close when you're in a marriage is not a good thing, especially if your mom is like Jasmine's mom and looks for problems and everything. Like, oh, nothing's good enough for my daughter and blah, 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 blah. So it's very good that Jasmine like put a boundary there where it's like, no, Mom, I'm not going to tell you everything. Leave me alone. Because if you don't do that, then your mom's going to interfere in your relationship. But yeah, no shade on Jasmine's mom. I think she has good intentions, but she just seems like kind of controlling, kind of very particular about things, very opinionated, stubborn, you know, stuff like that. And it's just like, it's not, as a parent, I feel like you have to realize it's not healthy to be too involved in your kids' relationships, you know? I can't tell if I like this or if I hate it. It'll come together. It's all good. It'll come. It'll work out. And the light on the moon, it would be smaller and then get bigger. Right? From on the water? I think so. Sure, I'll look up a reference really quick. Moonlight on water. Oh, that's a song. Maybe it's bigger at the top and then it gets smaller as it gets closer. Something like that. Or maybe it's the same all the way. Anyway, Jasmine and Bobby, they win this season of Love is Blind. And yeah, I think they're great. And they look so good together. They're so cute. And I hope Bobby's as nice as I think he is. Because it's always disappointing when you think someone's so nice and then you learn that they're not as nice as you thought. But I have hope. Okay, and then... Oh my goodness. We have Maria and Tom. And honestly, if Tom shows up to the reunion with Natasha, I will not be surprised. Just by looking at them, I felt like they'd get along better, but I think Tom was more like sexually attracted to Maria. Like he had that dream about her, and I think her voice and her personality was more appealing. Like even just, I think you can tell if you have chemistry with, like physical chemistry with somebody, just by talking to them sometimes. And I think that's what happened to him, is that he and Natasha probably would be a good marriage, maybe, but he was just so attracted to Maria that he pursued her instead, and he broke things off with Natasha. And then Maria really liked Tom and blah, blah, blah. I think Maria and Tom could be married and it would work out, but I don't know. He doesn't give me the ick, but he kind of gives me Playboy vibes, like literally like Hugh Hefner. He kind of looks like Hugh Hefner. And then also, Tom does this weird, it's not that weird. I'm not, like if you do this, it's fine. A lot of people have like a little vocalization that they do. Like I click my tongue before I talk a lot. But he does this thing where he's like, Like he'll say something and then or like you say something and then he goes Like you can see it if you watch the show with subtitles. They even like put the mms in, and I think that's why I noticed it so much. But he has like a very, I don't know, it kind of weird, it didn't weird me out, but I just noticed it. I think that's why. I don't know. Anyway, but I think Maria and Tom look good together. I think they'd be a good match if Tom didn't leave her at the altar. Oh my god. I didn't really expect that to happen either. I mean, I kind of did. But his reasoning was like, I mean, low-key, I'm like, did they tell them to say no at the altar for dramatic effect? Like Demi and Ollie, I'm like, I just can't believe that Demi and Ollie aren't getting married right now. Like, are they doing it for the drama, which I don't want that. I just want to see if they get married or not, for real. Oh, I don't like what's happening. Or actually, no, it's not bad. It's fine. We're fine. We're good. False alarm. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. My tummy just rumbled. Did you hear that? Ew. I kind of do want this to be like really soft background because I want her to be the most important thing. So I'm almost done. I'm so close. I'm gonna do the I'll have to do that off camera. The naked bits. But oh, don't mess this up. Okay. This is too okay. Oh geez, always step on the wire. Okay. Yeah, Maria and Tom. I especially didn't expect it because, like, he had a moment with her mother where she was like, take care of Maria, and I love Maria, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'll take care of her. And then he says no. I was just like, bro, no. Why would you do that to the mom? That's messed up. Oh, woo. I'm hungry and sleepy today. Oh my god, my stomach. Yeah, then Tom was like, well, our cultural differences, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're just some stuffy old white English dude who can't handle different cultures. Like, I feel like what he was talking about, like, oh, I don't want my daughter to think that men should pay for everything for her. I don't want my son to think that they need to pay for everything. I want it to be equal, which I agree with. I think that's good. But, like, he just doesn't get it. You know, he just doesn't get it. He's just, like, if that's how Maria thinks, it doesn't even mean she'll be like that forever. Like, if she actually had children, like, if she had a male son, she might change her perspective a little bit. Or, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. You know, like, your kids kind of, like, carve their own path anyway. So, yeah. I don't know. I just didn't... He just seemed like he got scared of nothing to me. Like, because Maria didn't really seem... I don't know. But I felt bad for Maria. She was, like, crying. That's horrible. So I don't think they'll get back together. I think if anybody gets back together, it would be Demi and Ollie. But even so, you just don't know, you know? You just don't know. Like, it could be too damaging and they can't get back together. And I hope I didn't get anybody... Yeah, because I think, yeah, Sabrina and Steven definitely got married. That was adorable. Nicole and Benaya definitely got married, I think. I hope I'm not, like, messing anything up. Jasmine and Bobby, duh. If Jasmine and Bobby didn't get married, I'd be so shook. Same with Sabrina and Steven. I would have been so, like, I watched a different show. You know? I want this to look... There we go. Oh, I messed it up. Like, I want, like, soft lines, you know? I'm not really good at that. But, oh, there I go, making a Tom noise. Ooh. Okay, so I I'm so close to being done. I just want to be done. I think I'm going to finish this off camera. And when I eat my lunch, I haven't even eaten breakfast, but whenever I eat, I'm going to finish the season. And then maybe when the reunion comes, I'll talk about it again. Because I love Love is Blind. Let's be real. I want to make... Yeah, there we go. It's funny how one little thing makes such a big difference, you know? Yeah, I don't think... Oh, poo. I don't think Kat and Freddie are gonna make it. I just don't. I think Kat is too freaked out by the cheating thing, which honestly is so... I hate that for Freddie. Even though, you know, he cheated, that's not good. I think people often will make that mistake and then deeply regret it, and they won't do it again. It was just they were in a bad situation. I mean, a lot of people cheat, let's be real. I don't think... I mean, it's horrible, but I don't know. I just think it happens so much that, like, I don't judge people based on that, you know. And obviously Kat said she'd been cheated on in every relationship, so that makes her more sensitive to it. But I think Freddie's a nice guy. Like, his family seemed nice, and he's a funeral director. Oh, this looks good. This is looking good. Oh, thank God. Oh, in the camera it looks even better. Let's make it a bit darker down here. You know, sometimes you just have to relax and just keep moving and stop thinking. You know, it's like, oh, it'll work out, don't worry. We want a little bit of reflection down here, just a little bit. We probably want to lighten it up here then too, don't we? Oh, I'm getting lazy. I can feel it. But yeah, so I'm gonna probably hop off now, and I'm gonna eat some breakfast and I hope, low-key, I hope Kat and Freddie don't get married, because I feel like they won't last. They're just one of those couples, you know. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I think I like talking and drawing sometimes. I haven't figured it out yet, but yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe I'm gonna talk, maybe I won't, but check it out if you want, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye. Let's do a little close-up.